HCG crew! What it do? What's up, y'all? I hope you enjoyed an awesome Masters week. I know I did. Hell of a fucking golf tournament, as it always is. Was awesome to have it back in April. Pumped to talk the recap. We'll also be talking a little bit of RBC Heritage this week. Was surprised to see how strong the field is for the Heritage this week. Thought, a lot of these names that I see at the top of the board on Draftkings, I imagined weren't going to play. So, actually going to be a stronger field than I was thinking, and maybe a more fun event than I was expecting when we head to Harbour Town. But let me first go ahead and spark up before we talk about that 2021 Masters we just got to see over the weekend. Today I'm smoking Banana Slug. The grower is Smoakland. It is an indica dominant hybrid tested at 21.04% THC. So yeah, like I usually do, sticking to over 20% THC. And it should be a fun ride. All right, 2021 Masters, your winner, your champion, Hideki. Young Hideki Matsuyama, gets it done before the age of 30. I mean, this kid burst onto the scene in his early 20s, right? And it almost feels like even at 29, his first major win should have come sooner. But Hideki, 10 under, winning the first major of his career, the first Japanese player to ever win a major on the PGA Tour. And yeah, I mean, it's been a long journey for Deki. Again, when he burst onto the PGA Tour scene, in 2014, 2015, when he was really playing well as a really young up-and-coming golfer, it seemed like really sky was the limit, right? And then he sort of hit this lull over the last maybe half decade or so, where, he just hasn't really lived up to those expectations that he set early in his career. So, awesome to see Hideki pull it off. We did have him as a part of our player pool. He was in the mid-shelf plays there, so always great to have the winner be a part of, one of our plays. And yeah, we've been tracking Hideki for the last few weeks now. The ball striking came back, and he's a guy where if he's going to make those, 3 to 6 footers all week, he's always going to be viable to win, especially when, the irons are in form as they have been for weeks now. So great win for Deki. Awesome to see him win. One thing I wanted to note, may have even been a better tournament for Hideki if the conditions weren't so crazy on Thursday. The conditions on Thursday absolutely shocked me. I think it hurt a guy like Bryson as well. That golf course was playing extremely hard and extremely fast. Like, Augusta National already plays hard and fast, but on the opening round and that Thursday opening round was absurd. Like that golf course was holding no shots. I mean, unless you were someone that really plays well and that sort of, it was almost playing like linksy, like Open Championship style, where you were literally trying to bounce your approach shots into the green. So really wonky how the course played on Thursday. And I mentioned, I don't think it helped a guy like Bryson, who just doesn't seem to jive with Augusta, right? He missed the cut back in November, made the cut with a great Friday round here this year, but then fizzled out on the weekend. So I expect that Bryson should be able to have success around Augusta in his career and throughout the course of his career. But right now, he still has some things to figure out as far as managing that golf course goes, because it has certainly gotten the better of him to date. So Bryson doesn't come through for us. Did make the cut, unlike Dustin Johnson, so he paid off a little bit more than DJ, but yeah, Bryson, a disappointing week, certainly. Not a disappointing week for one Mr. Will Zalatoris, though, who launches himself into 27th in the official world golf ranking with his solo second place at the Masters here. I mean, what a meteoric rise for Zalatoris. This is a guy who was ranked outside the top 1,000 in the world in 2018. So, I mean, unbelievable to see. I mean, going from trying to Monday qualify for Korn Ferry Tour events to a solo second in the Masters, all in a 2-year period of time. It's incredibly impressive. Would love to see the trajectory continue to climb up for Zalatoris. I mean, I almost, his price tag this week, I almost gagged at his price tag, but The guy's been playing amazing golf lately. I don't know if he deserves to be around the names he's around this week, but as hot as he's been playing, love to see what Zalatoris has been doing. I mean, it's truly been amazing to watch. So, love to see the Zalatoris performance. Another player who was a part of our player pool. The only debutant, the only player making their debut that we liked at the Masters was Will Zalatoris. So, great to see him come through with that performance. And then Brian Harman. A very, very solid performance. Was 6 under, tied for second after the second round. Really, really struggled over the weekend. Finished 2 under and a tie for 12th. I was really hoping he'd get that top 10 to cash those top 10 bets, but on DraftKings at that $6,800 price tag, you are definitely happy if you played Brian Harman. So shouts out to that guy, that smooth swinging lefty who just continues to play with, some confidence that I really haven't seen Brian Harman have maybe ever. So looks like he maybe is sort of stepped himself and up as far as tier of golfer goes. He's maybe expecting more out of himself as far as results are concerned. So it'll be interesting to see how Harman can back it up this week. He is in the field at Harbour Town. And yeah, as far as the Masters goes, it was a bummer not to see Tiger out there. It was a bummer having to see him tweet about, being sad about missing the Champions Dinner, that he couldn't be out there, playing practice rounds with the guys. It was a bummer not to have Tiger around for the environment, but it was awesome to see fans out there. And what an awesome and unique experience if you did get to go to this Masters, because there weren't many fans out there, so you sort of had free reign over Augusta National, which, to be able to get up and close and personal with those players, in not a frenzied environment at the, premier venue in the world, that the PGA Tour stops at, once in a lifetime experience for those patrons that were in attendance. So awesome to see that there were fans at this Masters. We got some roars, or at least a semblance of some roars. And that it feels like we're returning to normalcy, at least in the world of sports and outside the world of sports too. It feels like we're starting to get back to some semblance of normalcy and what life used to be like before COVID. So that was also awesome to see. But yeah, Hideki, couldn't be happier for the guy. Like, it is a long time coming for him. You felt like, really, even as a young kid, he had like the weight of a nation on his shoulders. He is the pride of Japanese golf. And now he's the trailblazer. He has that major championship. He has that green jacket that he was carrying around the airport, flying commercial. Hope he didn't fly coach. I at least hope he was flying first class. But yeah, Decky was flying commercial. PJ to Japan, probably pretty expensive anyway, as one of my buddies pointed out. And he's right, I'm sure. But, shit, NetJets. You guys couldn't hook up my boy Decky after winning the green jacket and, get my boy back to Japan in style? Shit. Well, I at least hope he was riding first class with that green jacket. And, yeah, Bryson, one of these years, I want to see him tear apart Augusta. It's fucking disappointing this week. And, man, it seems like the golf course has some real estate in Bryson's mind right now. But I will still be playing Bryson for years to come in the Masters. I'll also be playing Jordan Spieth for years to come in that event. He's unreal. If he comes into the Masters in form, he's almost like a guaranteed top 3 finish at this point. So another top 3 finish for Jordan Spieth at the Masters. It's, business as usual for him. And with that, unfortunately, we'll put a close on the 2021 Masters tournament. Always an awesome event. Again, that, the Masters and the Open Championship, my 2 favorite events of the year. So, was an awesome week, guys. Was an awesome week. But we're on to the 2021 RBC Heritage. A little bit of a hangover event coming off of the Masters, but we do have a pretty strong field. So let me get a drink of water. Let me re-spark. And let's get into how we're going to win this money, because we got some good players here on the board. And, I think that there's a chance that we can get a couple of these SCHWAG bag plays at really low ownership to perform for us this week. So should set up as an interesting week. Let me go get that water and spark this back up, and we'll get into our top shelf plays. Alrighty, top shelf play. Oh, I'm sorry, top shelf plays. God, gotta lay up the RBC Heritage for you guys. All right, 2021 RBC Heritage course breakdown. We are playing at Harbour Town Golf Links in Hilton Head, South Carolina. Weather should be good all week, guys. Harbour Town's a par 71, plays at 7,121 yards. We are on Bermuda greens. Webb Simpson is our defending champion at 22 under last year is what he shot. And yeah, that should come as no surprise. Bermuda greens, we're on a target golf course. Pete Dye design, Webb Simpson winning the event last year. You know, that surprises nobody. The statistical model that we built this week. So our golfer prototype. First and foremost, I mean, we're really looking for, I mentioned it's a Pete Dye design. We want guys that are dialed with their irons. I mean, that you find fairways and then you hit the ball as close in proximity as the hole as you possibly can. Those are the guys we want. We don't need these bombers. We don't need these guys that are super special off the tee. We need guys that can stuff their irons and putt well and get up and down on these Bermuda greens. So strokes gained approach, opportunities gained, strokes gained around the green, strokes gained off the tee we're sprinkling in. And again, we're going to sprinkle in strokes gained putting, as is customary this year. So again, it's strokes gained approach, opportunities gained, strokes gained around the green, strokes gained off the tee, and strokes gained putting. My winner this week comes from the mid-shelf, one of the higher priced players in the mid-shelf. Mid-shelf plays are $7,500 and more, and less than $10,000. So yeah, my winner is under $10,000 and more than $7,500. Drop who you think my winner is in the comments, please. And also let me know who you think is going to win the event, the 2021 RBC Heritage. And with that, we can get into our top shelf plays. Top shelf plays are $10,000 or more in DraftKings salary. Our first top shelf play, a very surprising miscut at the Masters. Patrick Cantlay. $10,900 price tag, 17.7% projected ownership. Coming in first in the custom model, 13th on approach, 27th in putting, 19th around the green, 10th off the tee, and 8th in opportunities gained. Is a perfect fit for this golf course. He's played here 3 times. 2019 he came T3, 2018 he came T7, 2017 he came T3. So the course history is there. The recent form is there. I mean, the miscut at the Masters, I'm willing to excuse. But over his last 12 measured rounds, you know, he's rating out first in this field as far as the custom model is concerned. So love Patrick Cantlay. We're getting a bit of an ownership discount on him because of the miscut last week, which I love even more. And yeah, he deserves really to be the second highest priced player in this field, either he or Webb Simpson, I would say. And I actually do prefer Cantlay this week. So Patrick Cantlay, really strong play at the top of the top shelf there, or near the top of the top shelf there, below DJ. $10,900 price tag, 17.7% projected ownership. The next top shelf play. Since we're looking for players on approach, this guy always shows up when he's in the field. It's Mr. Colin Morikawa, $10,500 price tag, 20.1% projected ownership. Coming in 10th in the custom model, first on approach, 105th in putting, 87th around the green, 13th off the tee, and 6th in opportunities gained. I mentioned it last week with the Masters. You're going to need Morikawa to hit a lot of greens this week because we do want guys that are going to be able to scramble, and Morikawa just has not done that well recently, right? He's been poor around the green, and he's been poor with the putter. So if Morikawa can either, you know, improve and not, you know, lose tons of strokes around and on the green, or if he can just get blazing hot with those irons and hit a ton of greens in regulation, those are his 2 paths to victory, quite honestly, because that's obviously the upside of Colin Morikawa in any field, particularly in this field. So I do like Colin Morikawa at that $10,500 price tag. Came T64 here last year, which you don't love to see, but I mean, we know the talent level of Morikawa at this point, right? So we know what upside he brings to any given event. The last top shelf play actually kind of surprised me. I mean, with the names in this top shelf, DJ, Cantlay, Webb, Morikawa, Berger, I landed on Cameron Smith. Cam Smith, $10,200 price tag, 6% projected ownership, coming in 8th in the custom model, 14th on approach, 6th putting, 8th around the green, 107th off the tee, but 35th in opportunities gained. So, been poor off the tee, but this is an event where you don't have to be phenomenal off the tee. If he can just find some fairways, he does not have to gain in distance. He's been hitting the approach as well, better than field average in opportunities gained as well. And we know what Cam Smith can do with the putter and around the green. I mean, one of the best around the green players in the world. The touch around the greens is stellar. So Cam Smith, I really like, especially at 6% projected ownership. The price tag's weird at $10,200. He's overpriced, but the ownership discount you get for him being overpriced is nice. He has been cut from this event the last 2 years, but came T32 in 2018 and T29 in 2017. So, yeah, obviously has some capability to make a cut and give you some upside, even from those T29 and T27 finishes. He's a better golfer now than he was, a couple years ago. So, do like Cam Smith to round out the top shelf there. And that'll take us into our mid-shelf plays, guys. So mid-shelf plays for the 2021 RBC Heritage. Again, mid-shelf plays, they're $7,500 or more in Draftkings pricing. First mid-shelf play, the man that we spoke about at the opening when we were recapping the Masters, our solo second place finisher, Mr. Will Zalatoris, $9,700 price tag, which is high, but 13.5% projected ownership. I thought that might be a bit higher coming off the big performance at the Masters. But the ownership comes in check. Coming in 5th in the custom model, 6th on approach, 110th in putting, 34th around the green, 12th off the tee, and 14th in opportunities gained. He just needs to putt, neutrally, and he probably pays off this price tag. If he can gain in the strokes gained putting category, then you're really going to be happy. I'd imagine he gained strokes putting at the Masters, and watching his rounds, he seemed to be putting very well. So that's the type of upside Zalatoris brings when he's putting well. His price tag has absolutely skyrocketed, and he's been playing phenomenal golf. So, maybe justifiably so. And he is a high pedigree, player. He's a Walker Cup team member, I do believe. Let's see, did he play? Yes, he was a Walker Cup team member, so a high pedigreed player that may be just coming on a bit late, but it does feel like his stock is sky high right now. I was coming into the week planning on taking a sort of wait-and-see approach with Zalatoris to see sort of where his salary is going to cap out. It was the 13.5% projected ownership coupled with his strong rating in the model that made me go ahead and recommend him as a play. I really thought people were going to be all over Zalatoris, but maybe some are cautious like I am at just how quickly he's being priced up with guys like Daniel Berger. So I do like Will Zalatoris, though. $9,700 price tag, 13.5% projected ownership. But it is a buy high spot on Zalatoris. I'll be perfectly clear about that. Another buy high opportunity, but another guy who's just been amazing with the ball striking, Corey Connors. $9,300 price tag, 16.4% projected ownership, coming in 6th in the custom model, 4th on approach, 16th in putting, 102nd around the green, 8th off the tee, and 31st in opportunities gained. So obviously the around the green numbers and around the green play is why you would look to fade a guy like Connors. Connors came T21 here last year, was cut the 2 years prior to that. This guy's just been a tee to green dynamo. The approach numbers have been stellar. Nothing not to like from a ball striking point of view on Corey Connors. So $9,300, again, This is a buy high. I mean, he's $200 cheaper than Terrell Hatton, and Will Zalatoris is $200 more expensive than Terrell Hatton. So yeah, it feels a little bit wonky as far as how quickly Zalatoris and Connors have risen in price. So I do like both of them as plays, but their respective price tags are at maybe what will be their high for this season. We might not see Zalatoris above a $9,700 price tag and Connors above $9,300. Of course, dependent on field strength in any given event, but this might be the peak we see them at in terms of DraftKings pricing. And as a matter of fact, let me back up to Terrell Hatton at that $9,500 price tag. I also like Hatton. Coming in 18th in the custom model, 16th on approach, 57th in putting, 112th around the green, 15th off the tee though, and 20th in opportunities gained. So he's gouging strokes around the green and on the greens. But if he can get neutral, or similarly to Morikawa, if he can just hit tons of greens in regulation and really lean on those irons to have a strong performance, I mean, Terrell Hatton being cheaper than Will Zalatoris feels kind of wrong. And being in the same pricing range as Corey Connors, that also feels a bit wrong. So Terrell Hatton, 14.5% projected ownership, $9,500 price tag. I like him as well in the mid-shelf. I also like one Mr. Paul Casey, $9,200 price tag, 15.3% projected ownership. And yeah, surprise, surprise. If you said that Paul Casey was my winner this week, you got it. I'm riding with Paul Casey, a guy who doesn't close the door much on wins, but man, it looks like it's setting up perfect for him this week. Coming in second in the custom model, 5th on approach, 17th in putting, 10th around the green, 75th off the tee, and 12th in opportunities gained. We don't need Casey here to, gain much in distance off the tee, so he just needs to really put himself in the correct positions off the tee here. And Casey, the one concern I have for him, he hasn't played this event since 2018, and he was cut from the event in 2018. So it's been a while since he's seen the golf course, but I mean, Casey's a tour veteran, right? And a guy who I love when it comes to these, target golf sort of Pete Dye designs. Yeah, I'm all over Paul Casey this week. 15.3% projected ownership. He is my winner for the event. The next mid-shelf play after Casey, Mr. Abraham Answer, $8,900 price tag, 21% projected ownership. Really paid off for us in DraftKings last week at the Masters. Gets the price bump as a result. Coming in, and the ownership bump too, 21% projected ownership. Coming in 12th in the custom model, 21st on approach, 78th in putting, 22nd around the green, 34th off the tee, and 51st in opportunities gained. Yeah, I mean, Answer doing everything except putting pretty well. And yeah, it just seems like a guy who's priced fairly, and a guy who should have success at this golf course. Came solo second here last year, was cut in 2019. And I believe last year here was the event where Answer gained an asinine number of strokes on approach and tee to green. Let's take a look. Heritage last year. Yeah. Answer gained 13.7 strokes tee to green last year at this event and gained 11.8 strokes on approach. My God. Yeah, he lost 2.5 strokes on and around the greens and still came solo second. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So yeah, Answer can obviously do some pretty crazy things at this golf course. Don't love the 21% projected ownership, but for an $8,900 price tag, it is certainly something to look at as far as Abraham Answer goes. A guy who's really intriguing this week, Tommy Fleetwood at an $8,800 price tag, 7.1% projected ownership, came T25 here in 2019. And could this be the type of event that Fleetwood finally wins on tour? He comes in 21st in the custom model, 18th on approach, 106th in putting, so we're going to need him to ride a hot putter, 29th around the green, 90th off the tee, so let's find some fairways, Tommy, and 26th in opportunities gained. I feel like for some reason, I mean, I know Fleetwood has flashed in like Sunday rounds at big events, at majors, right? US Opens. But I feel like this might be the type of event that Fleetwood breaks through at first. Something with a bit of a weaker field, less pressure. Fleetwood off the tee was awful at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. He did make up for that with gaining 4.7 strokes on approach, but he lost 2.4 strokes off the tee at that event. Other than that, he hasn't been terrible off the tee this year. So if he can continue the trend this year of just being sort of neutral off the tee, aside of course from the performance at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, then yeah, Fleetwood could do some damage here. So a high upside, high risk, high reward play. But I like Fleetwood this week at this $8,800 price tag, and especially at 7.1% projected ownership. I'm also going to go back to my boy Brian Harman. He gets a huge price hike as well. $8,700 price tag, 15% projected ownership. Coming in 16th in the custom model, 44th on approach, 30th in putting, 27th around the green, 26th off the tee, and 47th in opportunities gained. So just doing everything pretty well, or at least better than field average. And yeah, like I mentioned, Harman's been playing with a ton of confidence lately. Came T28 here last year, has a T9 in 2017, so he's got upside. And if the irons get hot, I mean, he's a guy who's been extremely confident around the greens here lately, and I trust him to be able to make some stones up and downs from time to time. So, like me, some Brian Harman at $8,700. Also like me, some Sergio Garcia, $8,600, 10.2% projected ownership. And I just lost a tab. Whatever. We'll figure it out. Anyway, Sergio Garcia, $8,600 price tag, 10.2% projected ownership, coming in 13th in the custom model, 3rd on approach. Sergio continues to be red hot with those irons. 125th in putting, though. And I was watching him at the Masters in his Thursday round, and he did not look comfortable over the putter. 43rd around the green, 41st off the tee, and 34th in opportunities gained. Gonna need Sergio to find something with the putter, but if he can just not absolutely kill himself on the greens, then he's going to certainly pay off this salary at $8,600. He's underpriced for how well he's been hitting his irons lately, so do like Sergio a lot. $8,600, 10.2% projected ownership. I also like Charlie Hoffman, $7,800 price tag, but 19.7% projected ownership. I know the last time I mentioned that I like fading Hoffman when he's high owned. I recommended him as a play at Valero, and of course he dominated as chalk there, came second. So I'm going to stick to my guns and say I would still prefer to fade Hoffman when he's this high owned, him being such a volatile player. But he is, he's high risk, high reward, right? If he does hit, he's going to hit big, right? Like a second place finish, a top 5, something like that. But he's so live to miss the cut as well. $7,800 is just so cheap. He was cut last year, came T45 in 2019, T23 in 2018, was cut in 2017, came T14 in 2016. So, I mean, I would be inclined to fade Hoffman, but just know that he rates out very well. But the ownership just so high. He's coming in 3rd in the custom model, 2nd on approach, 26th in putting, 36th around the green, 48th off the tee, and 15th in opportunities gained. Nothing not to like other than the ownership. So definitely take a long, hard look at Charlie Hoffman, old Chuck Hoffman, $7,800, 19.7% projected ownership. Another guy down here in this pricing range carrying tons of ownership, Chris Kirk, $7,500 price tag, 17.3% projected ownership, coming in 9th in the custom model, 29th on approach, 40th in putting, 23rd around the green, 30th off the tee, and 39th in opportunities gained. Yeah, I mean, Kirk's just been doing everything really well lately, and given how well he's been hitting the ball, he like Hoffman is just, they're underpriced, which is why they're carrying so much ownership. But I mean, it's also Charlie Hoffman and Chris Kirk. Like, they're not the world's greatest players. Kirk was cut in 2019 from this event, came T55 in 2018, was cut in 2017, and came T23 in 2016. So Kirk, like Hoffman for me, looks like a great play, but at such high ownership, you know, there might be more value in fading these guys, but there certainly, there's a fine line there. And let me at least give you, I think I already mentioned that Kirk rates 9th in the custom model. So yeah, Kirk and Hoffman looking strong, but probably ownership fades as far as I'm concerned. Sebastian Munoz at $7,500. Don't have to worry about fading him for ownership. He's only projected for 4.9% ownership. Munoz coming in 17th in the custom model, 26th on approach, 48th in putting, 64th around the green, 33rd off the tee, and 28th in opportunities gained. So doing everything pretty well. Munoz, a guy who can string together birdies in bunches, which I love to see. Guys who can get red hot, make a ton of birdies, and score us those Draftkings points. Munoz came T28 here last year in his debut performance at the RBC Heritage. So, yeah, I like what I see from Munoz. I'd rather go to him at the significantly reduced ownership to Chris Kirk and the reduced ownership to Charlie Hoffman, as well as the salary savings on Hoffman. So, Munoz going a bit underlooked this week, in my opinion. I also like, for the same price tag as Kirk and Munoz, Matt Wallace. Actually, to close out the mid-shelf here, Mr. Matt Wallace. $7,500 price tag, 7.7% projected ownership. Wallace coming in 7th in the custom model, 12th on approach, 61st in putting, 18th around the green, 63rd off the tee, and 19th in opportunities gained. A guy who, you know, he's going to ride hot irons to a good performance if you know, all goes well. And that's exactly what I want to see on this Pete Dye design. So I prefer Wallace and Munoz due to ownership to Kirk and Hoffman. And, you know, I'll roll the dice there because while Kirk and Hoffman both look like great plays, Munoz and Wallace look like solid plays in their own right and are getting far less ownership. So I will go that route this week. And that closes out the mid-shelf so we can get to everyone's favorite part of the show, the swag bag, baby. And we got a couple swag bag plays that are low owned here. You know, we got 3 plays that are in like the 2% projected ownership range. So hopefully we hit one of these fuckers. I mean, man, I didn't see anyone texting me any big hits for the Masters, so that was kind of a bummer. Thought we might have the Millie this past week, but we're $200,000 to first, guys, this week. So make sure you get your lineups in. And make sure you get one of these swag bag guys to do you some good. There's one guy down here that I can't believe is priced where he's at, and he's carrying some ownership. But some of these other guys they're going virtually unowned. So hopefully they have big performances this week. Damn near burnt my face off. The first swag bag play, Mr. Kevin Streelman, $7,300 price tag, 12.2% projected ownership. Streelman coming in 29th in the custom model, 55th on approach, 45th in putting, 60th around the green, 22nd off the tee, and 32nd in opportunities gained. So yeah, I mean, for this price tag, all things that sound pretty appealing to me. Streelman was cut from this event last year, but came T6 in 2019 and T7 in 2018. So let's see if he can refine his mojo around Harbour Town here. Coming in pretty solid form, obviously, given where he rates out against this field in the last 12 measured rounds. So 12.2%. He's one of the more popular plays, projected to be one of the more popular plays down here in the swag bag, and justifiably so. I was also surprised to like Lucas Glover at $7,100, 9.5% projected ownership. Glover's wife must have let him off the leash and let the man play some golf again, baby. Let the man be a man. Coming in 4th in the custom model, 33rd on approach, 21st in putting, 24th around the green, 24th off the tee, 2nd in opportunities gained. Lucas Glover has been hitting the ball really well over his last few events. He has not been playing in the strongest of fields. but you can't really hold that against him. You know, he's playing in the fields that he's qualified for at the moment, and he's at least playing well in those fields. So Glover looking like he's finding some form here, and given his recent form, he's too cheap at this $7,100 price tag. So the ownership's sort of there at 9.5%, but definitely take a long, hard look at Lucas Glover at this price tag this week. One of those low-owned plays I mentioned in that 2% range is Mr. Harry Higgs. $7,000 flat is his price tag. 2.1% is his projected ownership. Higgs, a guy who can get ridiculously hot and string together tons of birdies. Coming in 26th in the custom model, 11th on approach, 52nd in putting. 117th around the green, 71st off the tee, and 11th in opportunities gained. I just love to see the approach numbers and the opportunities gained numbers, right? For a $7,000 flat price tag, he has been elite with the irons over his last 12 measured rounds. So let's see how far that can take him at a 2.1% projected ownership. That's really all it takes for me to get behind Higgs at this price tag and projected ownership. He came T52 last year, so let's see if he can improve upon that finish, but at least he made the cut in that debut performance. So Harry Higgs, $7,000, 2.1% projected ownership. The most underpriced player in the swag bag is Doug Ghim, $6,900 price tag, 11.8% projected ownership. So the ownership's kind of there, but it should be there more. Coming in 14th in the custom model, 15th on approach, 132nd with the putter, 35th around the green, 31st off the tee, and 22nd in opportunities gained. I mean, for a guy at $6,900, he's by far the class of the ball striking down here in this range. I mean, he's had two god-awful performances with the putter back-to-back at Valero and Honda. Lost 7.5 strokes putting at the Valero, lost 4 strokes putting at the Honda. So, yeah, I mean, obviously the putting numbers are looking horrid right now, but that's something that can sort of flip on a dime. I mean, he's a guy who gained 5.3 strokes putting at the Farmers back in January, sort of out of nowhere. Also gained 2.1 strokes putting at the Genesis back in February, sort of out of nowhere. So if he can couple these tee to green numbers, like he gained 9.1 strokes tee to green, gained 2.9 strokes on approach, gained 3.4 strokes around the green at Valero. These are all the things that we want to see at Harbour Town. So if you can just flip the putter a little bit, like don't lose 7.5 strokes putting, dude. Like that shouldn't be that difficult to do, I would hope. Ghim looks phenomenal. So love Doug Ghim, $6,900 price tag, 11.8% projected ownership. Also like Chase Seifert, $6,700 price tag, 8.1% projected ownership. Seifert's been hitting the ball well, coming in 30th in the custom model, 52nd on approach, 64th in putting, 61st around the green, 38th off the tee, and 10th in opportunities gained. Seifert, I believe, no, he is not. So he's making his debut at Harbour Town here for the RBC Heritage. Seifert at the Valero gained 3.1 strokes tee to green, gained almost 4 strokes off the tee, did lose 2 strokes on approach, but at the Honda where he came third, he gained 7.9 strokes on approach there at the Honda at the end of March. So we know he can spike with the approach numbers. And for a price tag this cheap, a player that carries that much approach upside is definitely worth a look. So Chase Seifert, $6,700 price tag, 8.1% projected ownership. Taking us into another super low projected owned play, Mr. Richie Werenski, also $6,700 price tag, 1.6% projected ownership. Super high risk, high reward play. 27th in the custom model, 45th on approach, 93rd in putting, 14th around the green, 83rd off the tee, and 7th in opportunities gained. So we just have to hope Werenski is throwing darts and absolutely stuffing the ball next to the hole, because the only real redeeming qualities he has are his around the green numbers and his opportunities gained statistic. So We really want to see Werenski stuffing it close when he is hitting the greens, and when he does miss the greens, he at least has the fortitude around and touch around the greens to make some up and downs, assuming that he can improve a bit on that 93rd rank putting stat. So Werenski, worth a roll of the dice, I think, for the 1.6% projected ownership that he's carrying. Kyung-Hoon Lee, KH Lee, $6,600 price tag, 2.1% projected ownership, the other super low-owned play down here in the SCHWAG bag. A guy who we've seen get hot and make tons of birdies in events, especially events that are like Target Golf, Pete Dye types of courses. So if KH Lee comes riding some hot irons, don't be surprised if he outperforms this price tag. Coming in 28th in the custom model, 24th on approach, but 92nd in putting and 123rd around the green. So we're going to need KH Lee to hit so many greens in regulation. He can do it, though. I mean, he's a guy who can get really hot with those irons, and he's 19th in this field off the tee, so should leave himself in good position off the tee, and first in opportunities gained. So hitting the ball really close as far as proximity goes to the hole. So I really do like KH Lee, only carrying 2.1% projected ownership and a $6,600 price tag. A good week, guys, I think, to take some stabs at some of these low-owned guys down here in the SCHWAG bag. It could really pay off in big ways and vault you toward the top of tournament leaderboards. Surprised at the ownership on this next guy, but I also like Patton Kizzire, $6,500 price tag, 9.6% projected ownership, though, so it seems like the field also likes Patton Kizzire. Coming in 22nd, in the custom model, 10th on approach, 38th in putting, 101st around the green, 86th off the tee, and 22nd in opportunities gained. I believe Kizzire has course history on his side as what? He's made the cut three of his last 5 times here. Missed the cut last year, but was T45 in 2019. Missed the cut in 2018. Came T32 in 2017 and T14 in 2016. I don't love the ownership on Kizzire, so honestly, I'd probably pass on him at this point. I'd probably rather find the extra $100 to go to a KH Lee. Or really, if I could, find the extra $400 to get to Doug Gim if he's not already in the lineup. So not in love with the ownership on Kizzire. Would be happier if he was one of these like 2% plays. But he is rating out solidly enough in the custom model that I would go ahead and mention him. But I would also rather play this last guy in the SCHWAG bag, the last of our SCHWAG bag plays for the 2021 RBC Heritage, Mr. Tom Hoge, $6,400 price tag, 4.1% projected ownership, has been cut from this event in his last 2 tries, did come T55 in 2018, so has at least made a cut around Harbour Town. But Hoagie's just been hitting the ball really well. Doesn't hit it far, but man, when it comes to approach numbers, he's got it cooking down here at a $6,400 price tag. 15th in the custom model, 7th on approach, 104th in strokes gained putting, 28th around the green, 97th off the tee, and 5th in opportunities gained. Again, if I can get someone that's been this red hot with the irons down at a pricing tag like this, it's really just a no-brainer. I mean, I understand that it's a high-risk, high-reward play, but the upside's there with Hoge if he is stuffing his irons, and he has been hitting them exceptionally well as of late. So a final SCHWAG bag play is Tom Hoge, $6,400, 4.1% projected ownership. Guys, let's go out there and get ourselves a fucking W this week. I should say guys and gals, for you gals watching the show. Let's go out there and get a fucking W this week. $200K to first. And if I can ask you guys, if you haven't already done it, I don't know how you haven't already done it, but I am going to ask you guys so nicely. I'm pleading, please, if you have not already, click that notification bell, subscribe to the YouTube channel, please like the Instagram channel, or follow the Instagram channel, I should say, at Hit the Green Podcast. Throw likes on our post. Really appreciate that. Helps the podcast spread out to other people. Find more ears, find more eyes, more listeners, more viewers. It's good for everybody. It's good for the environment. So good for the mojo. We're going to get ourselves a winner one of these weeks. I love the opportunity Paul Casey has this week. Coming off the ho-hum Masters performance where he didn't really have to worry about Sunday. He didn't have to have a bunch of pressure coming into Sunday. So I think he's going to have a hell of a week this week. And if you can find a little wager on him on DraftKings Sportsbook or wherever you like to bet, I'd go ahead and put a little piece on him. So with that does it. RBC Heritage Week, Masters Week is behind us. We get to start looking forward to major championship season past the Masters after this. So onward we go. Next is the PGA Championship. Should be fun. Should be fun, guys. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm pretty stoned. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Love you, HTG crew. Peace.